All right, something a little different for you guys. I am helping out another artist with a 3D art project. So I'm gonna take a quick run over to Lowe's. We're gonna get some plywood. He's already done a concept sketch for me. I've already done the digital part of it. I've already put it in my software, and we're gonna put it inside the Onefinity CNC machine here. I'm gonna get all the shapes cut out for his thing, and this is probably gonna be a multi-part video to where I get the stuff cut, get it prepped and ready for him, get it delivered. He's gonna paint everything. When he's done painting, it comes back to me. Once it's back to me, I'll assemble, and then he's taking it up to, I believe, Atlanta, Georgia, to display at a show up there. So I'm gonna take you guys along for the ride to Lowe's. We're gonna get materials. I'm gonna walk you guys through the machine to show you a little tutorial on that, kind of how I have it set up, and then we'll go from there. Yes, and look next to my rolly bench. All right, so I've already uploaded all the designs in here. So he has like a fish shape, there's a cardinal, there's a frog, there's a deer, there's a raccoon, and then we have some water features and some foliage features as well as some stones. So I'm just gonna click through my files really quick and make sure everything I wanna cut with is up to the way I want to cut it. So my feeds, my speeds, and then also my depth, that looks good. It looks like it's gonna cut all the way through. And then we're gonna look at this one here. This one should have the same thing. Yep, that looks good. Okay, so this is our first file. I'm gonna go ahead and save this. We'll put it on the USB stick. Here we go. So this is my Onefinity CNC. This is what I've used to cut my 3D artwork and also my coaster sets for quite a long time. I cut my flounder boards on here. I do a lot of teak rod racks on this, but in order to get my buddy what he needs for his art project, we're gonna cut all of his characters out of this 1/2" ply so he can paint on them and we can build like a 3D feature. So like the fish will have protruding fins, the frog will have a protruding arm, the deer will have like an ear that pops up. We're gonna cut everything with this 1/8 inch compression bit. It shouldn't take us long. It should take us about an hour and a half to get everything cut because I did run it kind of slow, but we're gonna plug in our USB stick. We're gonna get the machine going, and I'll explain a little bit about the machine to you guys as we go. All right, this is the simpler of the two files, so I've got it all set up. I've got my material laid down in there. Let's take a quick second to go over some of the stuff I've got in my machine. So right here, this is my 2.2 kilowatt This is a water-cooled spindle. This is what runs the bit, and this is what helps cut the wood. I have that set up with a custom water tank and a VFD. Now, there's a lot of speculation about this. This is only 110 volt, 2.2 kilowatt, so I'm not getting its full potential here. I should have like a 220 on here, but this is what this calls for. I'm getting away with 110. I'm happy with it. I don't need much more power than I have. In order to keep things clean, I've got the Grizzly. I think this is a 1-horse dust collector that connects up there, goes here. And I've got a nice little dust shoe that fits here and sucks up all the dust as I go. The entire machine is run by the Onefinity Buildbotics brain here. This is their earliest model, I believe, that runs their machine. This runs off a Raspberry Pi type of chip board. I don't know a lot about it. I just know it works for me. It's great. There's not a lot of upgrades other than what I've done extra on my own. And this is an absolute must-have. This is a battery backup UPC. So if the power goes out or anything happens while I'm running my machine, it'll still run for a couple minutes on this while the power is down. So I'm able to come over here, shut everything down, save my file, and then kind of wait it out or restart it later. So I'm gonna get this thing fired up. I'm gonna show you guys how it cuts. And then as I get going, I'll put the dust shoe on it so you guys can kind of see how that works too. All right, the machine's all finished cutting. So my next thing to do is get all these pieces sanded down, but some of the individual pieces on the fish, on the deer, the butterfly, and some of the other parts and some of the foliage, they all have to be protruding. So I'm gonna sand them down to create like an angle. So when they all get glued and secured together, there's some actual other 3D features that are popping off. Some of the dorsal fins, some of the pectoral fins, the butterfly wings and things like that will actually be protruding and lifting off at different angles to give it a new 3D feature. So let's get started on that. So as you can see, I'm sweating to death out here. It's probably 80% humidity here. Thankfully it's cloudy out, it's not too sunshiny today, but I got the main ear cut off the deer, and this is a second ear that I've cut in place. I've already sanded it down and gotten that little 45-degree angle, or maybe it's a little steeper than that. That's gonna get glued right here. I'm gonna do it with some super glue, and you'll see it creates just that little angle, that little extra depth on this. So when this piece is hung up and painted, you'll have like an extra protruding piece that just adds to the 3D features. So let's get this glued together. So the next item that has some protruding features are the fish. So it's pretty big. I'm gonna cut right here. I'm gonna create this fin to pop up and have an angle like that. I'll probably leave this, but there's two fins here. This will protrude over, and then there's a piece that sneaks in between here where the water feature is. So let's do that, and the pectoral fin. The pectoral fin's gonna pop off the side nicely too. There we go, we got that nice angle on there, and I should be able to glue this to the fish now. All right, so all of the pieces are sanded, glued together. There's a couple pieces that aren't glued together yet that we're gonna have to wait to put together until I put the entire thing together. But as you can see, we have like a 3D ear, we have some 3D fins, we have some 3D leaves and a water feature. There's a couple more pieces that go in the water feature that need to be painted and glued on, but those can be done later. The butterfly is 3D. So I'm gonna take a quick second. I'm gonna put this whole thing together in the shape that we want it so you guys can see what it's gonna be displayed like when it stands up. But let's see what it looks like. All right, so I've got most of the pieces put down. This is kind of how it's gonna be displayed, but eventually it's gonna be standing upright on its own. I'm gonna pan you guys past it really quick. This is still a delicate process until it's painted, and then I do final assembly. So this will probably stand about 5 feet tall. I'm gonna have to space all the pieces to where they fit accordingly. And then I'm gonna have to put spacers between like the raccoon and his arm to go over the fish. So there's still a little bit of kinks and stuff to work out, but I think it looks awesome so far. My next step after this is to get all this stuff over to my buddy Patrick Maxcy. He'll get them painted, and then in another video I will do final assembly, and then if I get a chance to ride up with him to do the installation, I'm gonna take you guys along on that one. Here we go again. So I was waiting for some items to be shipped to the house so I can get some artwork done, but apparently there was some sort of shipping delay. Instead, I don't have work to do today, so I'm gonna go fish. We're gonna head down to the Tomoka Basin area, an area called High Bridge. It's a really super scenic, pretty drive from the old Dixie Highway area all the way up. It's probably like 2.5, 3 miles, maybe a little more, my judgment's off, but to A1A. And it's probably one of the most scenic, beautiful drives you'll do around the state. It snakes back and forth next to the water. It's got queen palms that hang out over, and it's a really tight, windy, like canopy drive. So I want to take you guys through that partially. We're gonna get halfway through it before we fish, and then on the way home I'll take you guys through the rest of it. So let's go see if we can catch some fish, and then hopefully all my stuff arrives today. I can start getting prepped for artwork, but until then, let's go see if we can get a snook, a redfish, a tarpon, a flounder, whatever I can get into. I have my wife with me again, so I'll probably get out fished. Guys, welcome to the Ormond Scenic Loop. So if you get a second, look this up online. It's going to be somewhere that if you happen to be in Florida near the Ormond, Flagler, Daytona area, you're going to want to visit and just take this beautiful scenic ride. There's tons of little stops on the way where you can fish and where you can sightsee and see wildlife. look up things such as the Fairchild Oak or the Bulow State Park. Also, Highbridge Park is here as well. As we go through here, I wanted to personally drive you through and show you this entire section. This whole little section right here runs along the backwater estuary that branches off from the Intracoastal Waterway. This is an area that is between Matanzas and Ponce Inlet, and this section of road right here is personally where I fell in love with fishing and wildlife. I have so many fond memories of fishing with my dad and early interactions and fishing with my wife. She got a huge redfish here, and that's one of our earliest memories together that we're so proud of. Probably one of the biggest snook I've ever seen in person I've caught back in here, which it was really nice at the time. I wanted to take a quick second to let you guys know the Ormond Scenic Loop reaches all the way from Flagler County down into Volusia County via Ormond and Flagler Beach. This is somewhere we really cherish and really take pride in because it is such a beautiful scenic ride. So I've got a couple buddies that live in the area that we all take turns coming out here, making sure we're picking up trash, making sure we're keeping these little side of the road spots where you can stop and fish clean. My buddy CJ Smith, my buddy Tomoka James, there's a couple other guys in the area that do a really good job of this. My buddy Alden, he's out here and does it pretty well. My buddy Sean, and then a few other local Ormond guys that really tit for tat come out here and make sure this place is clean and something we can take pride in and something that'll be clean for years to come. So if by any chance you guys ever end up in this area, drive through the Ormond Scenic Loop, stop at these areas, enjoy the wildlife, and just take in a breath of fresh air. There's so much to take in and so much to be proud of here, and I am so happy to share it with you guys. Change it up a little bit this morning. I'm gonna go with this kind of brown color with this brown and purple head here. I'm not sure the name of it. I probably should, but water's quite a bit murky here. It's a little browner as we get this far south. We're away from inlets. We're actually kind of in the brackish water almost. It's still salt here, but it's not as salty as the inlet stuff. So I feel like this brown color is gonna do us a little better. That's kind of what the mullet look like around here. And hopefully this gives us a little better, better action. The other thing I'm doing here is getting us both switched over to a 25-pound fluorocarbon. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm assuming we're gonna find some snook and some small tarpon. Now in this area, our snook don't get super huge. A 30-inch snook here is like a monster. Well, kinda. There are bigger ones, but it's rarer here this far north than it is if you go south. Our tarpon, we get some juvenile tarpon and we get some bigger ones in the backcountry, so if we run across those, it'll be nice to have a little stronger leader. So we'll start with this. Nothing crazy. I just got on the water. I don't feel like tying anything insane, so I'm just going uni. Say what you want. I'm not doing FG today. And I'm gonna get her set up with the same NLBN 3.75 inch in like the brown backwater color. Good snook, babe.
Right,
oh my God, get the net.
Oh Lord.
Oh shit. I'm coming up front. God, he ate it right next to the boat, babe. Oh, don't go under the boat. Hold on, wait. Let me get his head up first. Let me get his head to you. Coming to you. Ooh, nice job, babe. Good net. Good net. Good snook. Wow. Ooh, we'll take that. That's a nice snook for here. What do we got? Let's pinch the tail here. 24. That's a good snook for here. Let's let him go. You ready? Oh man. Good snook. Oh, this is a solid one. With the limited amount of time we had, it turned out to be a one fish day. Thankfully, it was quality over quantity, and it was still a great little trip. One of my personal favorite areas with tons of great memories, and I can't wait to go back there and fish again. But it was time to get home and get started on this backpack. I always have fun painting tarpon. It's probably one of my favorite things to paint, and this one had tons of little details. So as you guys notice with my backpacks, you can't really fit a whole fish like front to back or head to tail. So I tend to slice them up and put them across the bag so you can see a head, or you can see a dorsal, or you can see a tail. And this time I decided to work up one side of the bag and have that tarpon going up that right top corner. And then I added a fly going across the top left corner, angling down. This is actually a fun, unique way to get the artwork on the bag, and it turned out great. I hope you guys like it. Guys, as usual, thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I'm pretty excited to get all those 3D pieces all set up and ready for my buddy Patrick. Once he's done painting them, he's gonna bring them back to me, and in another video, we will assemble everything and get it to where it's freestanding. This is my first time doing something that scale with that many like 3D pieces and having it actually be freestanding. A lot of my 3D work is inside of a panel. I'm excited to get that back from him when he's done painting it, and then hopefully we get to take a little trip to Atlanta and install it. But On a side note, I'm pretty excited about this. This is gonna head down to my buddies down at NLBN in Miami. This is gonna be a gift for someone they're giving to someone. And to have that support from them and that they trust me in order to do a gift to give to someone else, I'm pretty stoked on. So as usual, thank you guys for joining me. Click like, click subscribe. If you really like it, share to one of your friends. And if you're new here, drop me a comment. That really helps. I like to interact with you guys. So throw a comment down there. I'll see you guys next time.